Popular writer Whitney Webb was recently deplatformed from Patreon. Today I'm going to discuss why this is vital to understand why we need to move from Web 2.0 to Web 3.0, from centralized organizations that control and censor to decentralized autonomous organizations. In the blockchain space, these are known as DAOs. Today I've made two videos on the platform called Unlock. Now, this is very important because Coinbase Ventures has backed them. I'll talk about why Mark Cuban backed them and why this is very important to understand in moving towards a decentralized version of Patreon. So if you don't know Whitney Webb, essentially she is this writer, really in, I guess you could call it the alt space, quote unquote. It really depends on what you think of as alternative, but essentially what she's doing is she's an independent writer. She's lived in where she lived in Chile for the past couple of years, recently having to move because of a lot of the things that are going on with Patreon. And a lot of these independent writers and artists are moving to a platform where you have actually paid content and away from things like YouTube, things like Facebook, Instagram, because these are controlled by centralized authority. At a snap of a finger, you can be deplatformed, all your content will be wiped away. This is the importance of an email list, having your own website, which she does. But again, a lot of these creators are moving to something like Patreon because you can have this essentially content put behind a paywall. And when you do this, you're able to monetize your energy and efforts. Whereas on a platform like YouTube or Instagram, really any of these kind of more popular free social media sites, the users are really the product because the platforms are selling your data. Especially, I covered this in Daily DeFi with the recent hack of Facebook. They essentially just, they got breached. So databases, things like people's last locations, their frequent locations, their phone number, their email, even their address, these things were leaked because you are really the product when you're using a free platform like Facebook. And this is why I think moving towards more of the paid content style, people pay, some people are paying for a Starbucks coffee every day, and they're consuming just free media, and these media companies are really just utilizing you. They're monetizing you as a viewer. And this is where something like Patreon kind of came in the, I think, kind of Web 2.0 version. Now, I've talked about, Web 2.0 versus Web 3.0 in the past. Go check out that video. I'm really just talking about the blockchain space and essentially going from platforms that monetize you versus platforms that actually you can monetize your own data. You can have sovereignty over your own data. And this is one of the largest commodities I think really the world didn't realize was a giant commodity. When you look at, okay, what's the best commodity in the world to own? It's really computing power in data. A lot of people thought, oh, gold, silver. Yes, these are great investments. We talk about that on the channel. Gold, silver, copper, palladium. A lot of great other ones are like things like lithium, especially with the rise in electric vehicles. But when you're looking at this just from an objective standpoint, you need to understand, okay, let's move away from Web 2.0 into a decentralized, autonomous kind of web where you own your own rights to your data. These content creators who are putting their time and effort into their work to really help you bring the objective facts. They don't have this bias where they have to really bend their knee to advertisers. This is where we need to move to. And someone like Whitney Webb, whether you agree with her or not, whether you agree with someone like Alex Jones or not, you need to think about this just from a historical perspective. In societies where people have been banned for things like thought crime, I mean, talk about a thought crime. If we really look at the Whitney Webb case, she wasn't even banned from Patreon from what she said on Patreon. She was banned on Patreon. You know why? Because of what other people said on her website. So they went on another platform, her website, used for the public. I will have that link down below just to help support her. I actually don't read a lot of her work. I'm not a huge Whitney Webb follower. Maybe I really just haven't read a lot of it. But this is just a great example. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter what you're talking about. You should have freedom of speech, and people should be able to look at what you're doing and choose whether or not they want to believe in it or not. A lot of great thinkers throughout history have said the sign of an educated mind is being able to hold an idea without fully accepting it. So basically having this kind of ancient Greek thought process, which is thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. So you just kind of go to people think in very binary ways. So you just kind of have the thesis maybe be one of the binary ways that you think. So maybe you're a Democrat. That's your thesis. Republican would be antithesis. So in order to argue your side, the Democratic side, better than the Republican side, you should know their argument better than you know your own. And when you're doing that, you're actually opening up your mind, becoming a lot more, curious, which is one of the most important things in my opinion. And why free speech is so important is because when you're only fed one stream of information, one kind of data stream, when that's controlled, that's the second you stop becoming curious because you're kind of being like a monkey in the cage in a way. And with this example, with Whitney Webb, it causes a lot of concern because when you start seeing this, like platforms going, okay, we're going to pick and choose one narrative that we want to kind of, we're just going to cut that off. We're going to cut that narrative off. But this narrative, oh, this is great. Let's keep this narrative going. So when you see this control of narratives, it's like, wait a second, what's the bias here? And I think that's one of the pushes for more decentralized systems. So that's where this Unlock protocol comes in that I've been talking a lot about. Love Unlock protocol. Absolutely incredible technology. Again, Coinbase Ventures has backed it. Go check out that video I did this morning on it. I actually recorded it a couple of days ago. Had it scheduled out for like Wednesday or Tuesday of this upcoming week. So like, I think April 6th is what it was scheduled for. But once I saw that the news with Coinbase Ventures, I pushed it up to this morning. Had to get it out there for you guys, so I see, like, if I would have posted it the day I recorded it, and it's up like $400. I recorded it around $600, just right around $1,100. Like, it's hovering around like the $1,000 range, so $1,000 to $100. But it's in such early stages. This is a Coinbase Ventures product. If you don't understand what Coinbase Ventures is, let me know in the comments. I can make a video on that, or I can answer you individually. Also, Mark Cuban backs this project. So just think about it, like, when you look at overall technology companies, really what they're doing is taking the analog version of something and digitizing it. And the first version of this, let's say, look at the analog version of taxi drivers, so ride companies or hotels. You would have to go inside a hotel, not on your phone. Go inside a hotel, not on your phone, or call a taxi. Hey, taxi. I remember doing this a lot. I think a lot of people do, but some people only grew up in the age of Uber and Airbnb, and actually ask them, Can I book a night in this hotel? Can I have a ride here? Instead, we have the digital version, which is better in so many ways. I don't see a lot of CD manufacturers still around doing business. I don't see a lot of, horse and buggy manufacturers killing the business, killing the game. I see a lot of electric vehicles killing the game. I see a lot of technology companies killing the game. And this is where you have to go, okay, you have to embrace innovation, because the second you try and go, no, we should only, have this old way of doing things, this kind of idea where it's like the way you've always done things is the way it will always be is terrible. You have to remove that from your mind. And that's, I think, really where the curiosity aspect comes in. And that's really where I think, we have this kind of version where these kind of things like paid memberships. So you can think about the analog version of something like Patreon would be maybe a seminar, maybe, like a grouply meetup that you pay for, something like that. It's like a club. But on Patreon, you have the community aspect. You have the chat function. But the issue here on Patreon is, again, they're censoring people like Whitney Webb for not things that she said on the platform, but things that she said outside of the platforms, and she didn't even say them. This is the thing that it's like, what is going on here? Does nobody realize this? This is insane. So again, whether you disagree with her or not, this really does not matter. Think about it, whoever your favorite content creator is. If they have a paid site, which a lot of people do, again, like whether it's a paid, maybe mailing list or something like this or something else, it really doesn't matter. Again, the main thing here is look at it from a bird's eye view and project out. If this is what's happening in 2021, what's going to be happening in 2030? And once people really start getting deplatformed because of thought crime, and not even their thought crime, but somebody else that they just had a conversation with, this is just, it's sad to see. So I hope you understand kind of what I'm talking about here. This is just kind of a little rant. It turned into a little rant here in beautiful Istanbul, Turkey. This beautiful park. Anyways, hope everyone's having a great weekend. So definitely check out those other two videos, Daily DeFi. I talked a little bit about the Unlock protocol, and also in this morning I did a video on it. But again, with this, do your own research. I'm not necessarily saying you should invest in it at all. I'm just saying it's an interesting technology company, just like Uber was interesting 10 years ago. Airbnb was interesting 10 years ago. But a lot of people went, no, hotels will be around forever. Taxis will be around forever. And so embrace innovation. That's the one thing I have to say. And look for companies that are innovating. So anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please leave us a like, hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with our channel, notification bell, because it's time-sensitive content. As always, invest global, and until next time.